Hi, well it's now the next day. Following on from my last video, I've done quite a bit on it, but it's nowhere near finished. It may be finished sometime next week, but as you can see, I'm doing hair at the moment and there's a massive amount of hair to do. So what I'm doing at the moment is just trying, this has got to be darker, but it's also got to be thinner because hair isn't this thick. So I'm just trying to thin it down a bit. I'll show you the full picture in a moment where I am. But this is what drawing by hand does, is you've got to do it this way. There's no easy way. There's no way that you should do it, even think that you could just blink and do it. It's a lot of hard work with music on. Really, you shouldn't have a camera being held in your left hand, but somebody's got to film it, and this is the only way that I can film it. I mean, the stupid thing is, it should be taken for granted that I do this by hand. But we're now in a world where AI is all over the place, and really doing anything by human hands, whether that is music, writing or art, let's just say it's an act of rebellion, it's an act of defiance. They want to take everything away from you, and they want to put their product in front of you. Always be wary of somebody giving you something for free. Nobody really gives anything free in this world unless they want you to do something. Free sample. They want you to buy the product. That kind of thing. Here's a free thing. Oh, thank you. I'll just... Can you buy our product? Can you do this? Can you promote this? Can you... No. Yeah, it's that. And the moment you realise that there's two things that you should realise when you're with life. One is nobody gives you anything for free. Everything's a fight to get to where you need to go, and people will try and stop you. And also, one of the big secrets of life is everyone's bluffing it and hoping nobody notices. Every single person, doesn't matter whether it is a politician, or certainly politicians, but it doesn't matter who it is, someone is bluffing it. Let's go on this. Have you ever experienced somebody, your childhood, with the parents saying, "Why? Because I told you so"? Yeah, there's some reason. There's reasons why you shouldn't do it. I mean, for God's sake, don't put your hand in a fire or start doing stupid things with washing up liquid tablets and those kind of stuff. I mean, there are things that don't thin out the gene pool, but there's also there are people who they do make it up as they go along. And the moment that you realise somebody's making it up as they go along, you just, yeah, okay, and you walk away. It's very freeing. But the thing about this picture, as I showed you in the last video, I have drawn Ozzy before. And this is all to do with a book that I'm working on. Now this book has got to be self-published because the amount of doors that I've knocked on, you wouldn't believe it. The thing is, when I'd left school in 1988, there were a lot more companies. I have a background in cartoons. I've never been trained, but I just adore animation. So the one place that I would have wanted to go was Hanna-Barbera. And I did contact them, and they replied. That was about 1989. My art skill was not like this, but they had the good grace to reply. Now, well, animation houses are owned by a handful of people, much the same as music. So when Ozzy was, let me just show you where I am before I start this. There we go. That's what I'm doing. When Ozzy was writing Ozzy Zig Needs a Gig and putting it in a window and hoping somebody notices, because his dad bought him a PA and he got a microphone. Black Sabbath were 4 lads from Brum. 4 lads from Birmingham, that's it. They went to the same school. Tony knew Ozzy as the class clown. But the thing about Ozzy was he'd got dyslexia. And he used humour. He was the class clown. And he deflected the ability not that he didn't understand things by using humour. If it wasn't for the 4 lads from Brum starting Black Sabbath, well, Ozzy ended up in prison for very bad theft. Bad theft as in one time he had a TV fall on top of him and he was trapped underneath the TV. He wasn't a great burglar. He stole baby clothes once. And it was a shop just down the road. Now, I've read this through his autobiographies. And when I was reading it, it was, oh, okay. There was one bad teacher, there was people in the way, and they all expected you to work in a factory. And after 35 years, you got a cheap gold-plated watch. Let's face it, it wouldn't be real gold, it'd just be gold plate. And that was your tenure done. And then when you'd finished the job, when you'd been retired, you'd done all the work for the company. If you hadn't have ended up disabled or fallen down dead, you would be retired and expected to live your life in retirement until you popped your clogs. And I'm reading this in his book and thinking, that's what I had. You see, when I was at school, I wanted to do art desperately, but art was what they called a DOS lesson. It was just a thing to muck around with. Idiots would throw clay. They'd splat paint on your artwork if it was better than theirs. It was just a muck-about lesson. Now some of those people have come up to me and said, oh, I wish I could draw like you. Well, here's the thing. Drawing like me is this. Drawing like me is locking yourself in a room with music on until you're burnt out, and then when you've finished off the picture, you put it online and it gets killed. And the company goes and says, hey, if you spend £28, you can reach 6 people. And I've got people around me who don't even know what like, comment and share is. Don't know how to do it. They just look and that's it. So that's why you get some pictures which are, they'll get something, but they won't get more than 20 people out of 1,000 odd. And it crushes you. It slowly crushes you. It's death by 1,000 cuts. And then you do another one. Now, with me doing musicians at the moment, because of this book, this turns into fan worship. So, with me drawing Sam Cooke, let's say, I like Sam Cooke, but Sam Cooke has got to be in the book. But people are there, I don't know who Sam Cooke is, I'm not interested. You do Ozzy. I know Ozzy, I like Ozzy, he's awesome. Yes, he is. Yes, he is awesome. He was awesome. But it's drawing the popular. Now, will I ever draw the acts that are around now? I doubt it. Because usually when I'm drawing, I'm playing their music. And playing their music, well, I haven't even got any. And to be honest, my music taste ended around 1992. When everything went Euro Club and that kind of stuff in the charts in the UK, I just went, that's it, I'm out of here. And I didn't want to deal with it, and then I just started buying back catalogue. But the point I'm going to make is, I'm wondering if Black Sabbath would have made it in this world. If you look at how the music industry was back then, you'd have movements. Yeah, most things spun off the Beatles, but you would have movements. So there'd be a disco movement. Let's talk about the disco era. That came from the black soul. That came from soul music. Originally, it was in the clubs, and people were playing this kind of music in America, Philadelphia mainly. People, authorities banned disco. They banned them playing it, which turned it underground. And it became an underground scene. The best thing for music is, if the authorities tell you that you shouldn't play it, it gets played. If the authorities tell you you shouldn't do something, you can damn well bet that somebody is going to do it. Hence, you have, in this country, they're trying to do, well, it is sort of working with internet censorship. It will drive it underground. I've seen this before. So, rock music was a rebellion. The same as punk. But it built underground and then exploded into the mainstream. And it was, well, where did this come from? Why are people playing this noise? We have now got a very company-led music industry with maybe about 5 proper labels. There are spin-off labels, but there are about 5 labels. and most of them are controlling what you can play on your social media channel. So if you want to play music, you'll have a copyright strike. They'll demonetize you, but I'm not getting any money for this. I'm just putting this video on because there's some sort of rule where you have to have multiple thousand views before you can do any monetization. And really, I'm just doing this as a log to show what I can do. So whoever out there in the ether is watching it, they may look at it and go, oh, we can draw, I'm interested. That kind of thing. It's just building ground, but it's so hard to build ground. But Black Sabbath started playing music as very, very different bands. I mean, Polka Talk Band, there was Earth. They had different sounds. And they built to... Well, they saw the film... They were next to a cinema and they saw the film Black Sabbath being played and said, if people are playing horror, if people are watching horror, why aren't, and they're paying to watch this, they should pay to watch horror music. That's where it came from. But I want you to think about that in this world. Most bands built their classic songs, those that are in now albums now, that are littering the charts and littering the shelves of shops. And you've got things like soft rock and dad rock and those kind of things. And weirdly, you've got people now, which I've seen... I'm just trying to find a pencil. That's it. Weirdly, you've got people now who... I've seen them in shops. One main shop in the UK that sells records. You know who I'm on about, because it's the only one on the high street. And they photograph themselves with albums. Why? To get likes. Are you listening to the music? Don't know. But think about what is in the charts now. And think about a band like Sabbath. Sorry, I'm sharpening a pencil. Think about a band like Sabbath. Or someone deciding to do it, saying, I want to sing a song that is anti-war, that tells you that the politicians are using us as pawns. I want to put that out. You can't do that. Why? Because we don't want you to. Alright, well, let's say we have a story about a hero robot and everyone shuns him and he goes into revenge. What are you on about? Can't have that. That won't sell. Now that's what you get when you get single companies controlling the entire industry. It freezes the freedom. And same with Ozzy. Look at the story of Bark at the Moon. I've got this horrible feeling that Ozzy wouldn't have made it if it was this world. If he was just starting out in this world. So the question is, how many aren't making it? How many are just putting things onto social media and hoping that somebody out there notices, and it never gets noticed? Plus, there's only a finite amount of time in the day. Do you really want to be watching videos constantly? And this is someone who's doing a lengthy video. Do you really want to spend your time just watching videos? There's a world out there. Grab it. I've locked myself away doing this. This isn't healthy. But it's on a mission to just get noticed for what I do. The play comes later, but it never does come later. The fun comes later. Well, it's... I mean, where I am, this will never get noticed. And I know that. I've got to leave the area, because where I am, there is no outlet for art or music or anything like that. So I'm going to go and live in a new area, but I'm waiting for this damn house to be sold. I'm waiting for it to be sold so I can go and get what remains of my life into just some sort of entertainment, some sort of fun. So will I down tools? Well, sometimes, yes, I will, but there'll always be that drive to get back to drawing. Same as Ozzy would always play, he'd always go back to concerts. He actually said that the people who he enjoyed were the concert goers, and that was his best drug. That was his greatest drug. And this is somebody who had a very high level of substance abuse and alcoholism, and it was Jack stopping drinking that stopped him, stopping his addiction that finally stopped Ozzy. It shamed him. They've said it themselves, it shamed him. But think about the time that Ozzy was around. I mean, this is a guy who took a whiz up the Alamo. And these people, these politicians, the newspapers, they were making money hand over fist with stories that were made up of him. One time they said that in America, they said that his concert, they were going to release a load of cats for people to kill before the show started. I mean, what sick mind comes up with that? He'd never have done that. But the thing that what started that was the mistake with the bat. And he thought it was a rubber bat. And suddenly he was this crazy person who bit heads off doves, bit heads off bats. And he was, for a long time, he was public enemy number one. I swear they just saw the... that they just heard the volume of his songs. Because if you listen to them, a lot of them aren't as heavy as you think. They aren't as heavy as you remember, as you know. But they had this idea with rock music that it was all that kind of... Yeah, there was a film... What was it? The Fall of Western Civilization Part 2, I think it was. Penelope Spheris did it. And Penelope Spheris did Wayne's World. But there was this bashing of rock audiences where we were considered to be a bit thick. No. No. There's that on all of them. You've only got to look at a football crowd to know that there's quite a few who are a bit thick. But, oh God, I loved him. He was for all his faults, and he softened up with those faults, and he put his family through a lot with addictions. There was this point where you'd see something in the paper and Ozzy Osbourne has done this. And it's, yeah, has he? Possibly, yeah, possibly done it. Is it funny? I find it funny. Wearing a dress and taking a whiz up the Alamo. Anyway, I will get on to doing more of this with some artwork. So this is where I am at the moment. The hard bit is this. The hard bit is the hair. And there's a lot of it to do and a lot of it to build. This isn't so bad. Although this section, a lot of this will be layering to get it into depth. And then it's down here with the cape. But this is, oh, by the way, yeah, it is on an angle. Maybe next week, it may be the week after. I'm not sure yet, because this is early. But this is where I am at the moment, and I'll film a video on Thursday. Tomorrow I'm off, and I'm down in Tools and watching a film in the cinema. Okay, see ya, bye.